want to get more clients for your business? Do you want to know the most cost effective way to get clients? And do you know that on LinkedIn, you can get clients without paid ads and referrals? Yes, if you don't know me yet, allow me to introduce myself. My name is 𝐲𝐿𝐵𝐻𝐻. I am the 2023 Top 15 LinkedIn expert in Dubai and the 2021 number one most influential Filipina on LinkedIn. Join me on the next few hours because today I have a very, very special guest. She's actually from the US and she's one of my partners on LinkedIn. I'm very excited because last year we did a LinkedIn Live event about how to supercharge your LinkedIn profile to attract high paying clients. We also did another event about how to get clients on LinkedIn. And today we will share with you exactly how we are leveraging LinkedIn to get clients and of course for the people to trust you and to buy from you using our own experience and expertise. And of course, we would like to thank every person who's watching us live or on replay. Today, we are live on LinkedIn. Simultaneously, we are also live on Facebook and on Twitter. So let me introduce my guest. My guest for today is 𝐷𝐿𝐿 𝐿. She is from the US and she is the CEO of What in the World Events. And for LinkedIn, she's one of the top public speaking voice. From my perspective, 𝐷𝐿𝐿 is one of the best live streamers on LinkedIn because she is one of those, I'll say, charismatic person, both online and offline. If you get to listen to her on her LinkedIn live video and also on her audio events, so far as of today, I know she has facilitated over 100 LinkedIn live episodes for me on LinkedIn. I think I had eight. This is my 81st episode, but today, let me bring 𝐷𝐿𝐿 on stage so we can together share with you how you can start getting clients on LinkedIn effortlessly.
Hey, I love
Hey,
the
𝐷𝐿𝐿,
I love
thank
the
you so
introduction.
much.
I'm humbled.
I know it's very early for you. What time is it now?
It's 7 a.m.
Wow. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And maybe 𝐷𝐿𝐿, you can welcome and thank every person who's watching us live or on replay also, because I know a lot of people on LinkedIn watch, the LinkedIn live during the replay, or sometimes they join us also on a later period.
Yes, welcome everybody. It's so good to have you on this show. We're just here to support you, and you'll see that Wandalin and I really have a passion for helping other people like yourselves, and we're gonna have some fun today. I'm excited.
Me too. I'm very excited. Actually, my staff were telling me just remember to calm down, not too high, not be too hyper. And I was like, it's okay. 𝐷𝐿𝐿 is there. She'll calm me down. I'm gonna try to speak slowly. So maybe 𝐷𝐿𝐿, you can tell us, for my let me tell first about my experience on LinkedIn because
Hmm.
I know a lot of people have their own journey on LinkedIn. And when I started on LinkedIn in 2011, I thought it was for a job. If you're looking for a job, then you're on LinkedIn. So I've been here since 2011, but I started using it actively during the pandemic only. And when I started showing up, and I was like bored, and at the same time, I know a lot of people are also burned out. So I started doing posting, I started coaching people also. And that is when the opportunity started coming to me from getting recognized as best career coach, most influential Filipino. And I was like, this platform is different, right? And from then on, it never stopped for me to meet people like you who are in this mission of helping more people. So maybe you can tell me about your LinkedIn journey.
Well, my LinkedIn journey started um, long before we had audio rooms, and it
Oh,
we just put our resume up there, and I just left it there and went about regular work. And then one day I get on LinkedIn, and I used to be on Clubhouse during pandemic.
mm.
Then I see that they have something similar to Clubhouse, which is the audio rooms, and I loved the audio rooms. I loved the Clubhouse audio rooms. but I really love the LinkedIn audio room. And I've made so many friends, and it's just a different caliber of friends on LinkedIn. We have a lot of professionals that really want to see you succeed, and and I want to see them succeed. So we help each other, and that's the beauty on LinkedIn. When you're in an audio room, you are a professional in what you're doing. You have an authority. You're an authority in what you do. So that's what I love about doing the audio rooms. I've met one of my uh, friends from long ago who hadn't seen me in a while, but he saw me in the audio rooms. Pepe Serna, he came out in Scarface, and he he reached out to me because he saw me on LinkedIn. So it's a great place to network, and it's a great place where people can get to know you through the audio rooms. So you just build these relationships, because I think it first you build the relationships and people get to know you, and from there sky's the limit. We all help each other. So back over to you, my dear.
Yeah, that's amazing, Angelica. And I think, I also love Clubhouse, but I think what I experience here in Dubai is that I really don't know. But, there's always a glitch. Sometimes I cannot join the audio room or there's a problem. But I think why LinkedIn is very special this way is that regardless of where you are from, regardless of how many followers you have, regardless of, where you're starting from. I think LinkedIn Live is one of the best platform for you to show your experience, your expertise, and as you rightly said, you connect with the right people. And of course, the people who haven't met you for a very long time, they get to see you. Because, from my experience also, a lot of people, there are 1 billion members now on LinkedIn. There's so many creators, I think maybe 1 to 2%, right? But the live stream video audio, they're quite few, right? What is your experience with that, Angelica? Why do you think is a LinkedIn live stream both in video and audio are powerful ways for you to build a brand, to get clients? Why do you say so?
Well, I think live streams work because people get to see your face. They get, when people see your face, they get more of a trust, right? Than just seeing a picture. So I think they see your expressions and how you relate to other people, how we communicate with each other, right, Gwendolyn?
I agree with you. Hmm.
So I think uh there's special touch there, but I think also, like, if you're teaching something, you could show a video on whatever you're teaching, or even if you want to inspire. Like before Pepe Serna's show, we had a little celebration. So we
Oh,
had a video, and I went about to the Latino community, and I interviewed a few people, um, to congratulating Pepe on his new book that he has out, right? And it was wonderful to see his expression when he saw um, everybody congratulating him on his new book. We had people dancing and doing different things. So I think you capture the emotion when you
hmm.
can do that. So that's what I love about that. So
I
many
agree
more
with
things I'm
you.
probably not saying.
I know, right? Recently I saw that video. I mean, there was a LinkedIn news article saying about there's now a new AI which automatically creates video marketing for you. So it's very difficult now to identify what is a video AI generated marketing versus a real video. And I will always say from an authenticity perspective, I mean, these live streams are the best ways for you to differentiate yourself because I believe that, no video marketing can replace my voice, my emotion, the way I interact with people. And I think what I learned also is that people don't buy from just a product. They buy from real people that they
Yes.
see and that they trust. And that is something that is so powerful. But a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of my clients, they will say, Wanda, I saw you on LinkedIn. I think it's very good, but I'm very scared to show up. So what do you think is, how did you find the courage? I mean, for me, nobody will believe, but I actually am an introvert. I mean, bring me to an event so you'll see me on the corner. But, I think there are many ways for you to show up, to add value. And maybe you can give some advice, Angelica, if people understand now that LinkedIn Live is one of the best ways for them to get known, to build trust, to get clients. How can they overcome the fear? Because there's so much fear around showing up also.
There's just so many advantages of being on video. I heard one yesterday in David Eason's room. He talked about how we never know, or Tara talked about we never know when we're going to go. When she had her father, the only thing that she had digitally of her father was his voice, right?
Hmm.
And she said one of the beauties about doing these lives is that our family, we never know when we're going to go, right? They'll get to
Hmm.
see us here. I know it sounds kind of ominous, right? But I thought that's so true. People get to see how you interact, your personality. That's just one thing. But I like I like seeing the expressions on people's faces when we're communicating. We're laughing together, we're nodding together, right? So
Yeah.
there's so much more, and the connection, because that's what relationships are all about, right? Connecting.
I
And
agree with you. Hmm.
yeah, and like you said, people buy from people. And if they have you ever wanted to buy something from somebody that you haven't really felt that connection with? I
Hmm.
remember one of my friends um, saying that when she was treated badly, right,
Hmm.
at and buying something, and then she changed her mind to buy. She said, "I don't think I want to give my money to somebody who's treating me like this," right? So you want to be with somebody who's going to treat you kindly, respectfully, and people could see if you're a kind person, usually on video, right? When
Hmm.
we're having these conversations. So there's a lot to it, but that's part of it.
I think I can understand that. Because I met a lot of people when you're so excited about meeting this person or buying that product or service, but when you meet them face to face and they treat you differently, at the end of the day, really the first impression always lasts. You end up not buying because you feel you're not treated well
Yes,
during during the transaction or when you met that person. I think it matters a lot.
exactly. And I think you build a reputation. Like people could say things about you, right? But when people
Mm.
see you and how you interact, they're like, "No, we know the real deal." When the and part of it is these conversations that we have here, you know? When you show up as a person that is always genuine, why would anybody think you to be any other way, right?
Mhm. I think so. And I think, what's good about being on a live platform, you can always make sense whether a person is genuine or not, right? I mean, you can see the way they speak, you can see the way they act. You can sense and feel from the screen. So that's why a lot of people
Touching
are
the screen.
scared in the screen. So a lot of people are scared. They thought that you have to look perfect in order to make things perfect online. But I definitely disagree with that because when I started my LinkedIn life, I made every mess that's possible. Like the mic's not working, or I cannot go live, or sometimes I was logged off. But I was like, I think a lot of people sometimes message me that they actually like the way I manage when everything went wrong. So I was like, oh yeah, it's so difficult really when you go live. And I think I also want to push upon what you said earlier, that when you go live stream, whatever presence you have digitally, it stays forever, right? And I think that's a legacy. That's, I think that's the most important thing that we have advantage today. I mean, social media, this live streaming, it didn't exist 40, 50 years ago, but now when you go live, it's a digital reputation that you build, that you get to add value to people's lives. And I think not only to other people, but when you see your children's children, then they get to see, oh, there's a record somehow, somewhere, right? That exists. And maybe Angelica, a lot of people also are struggling how to get started on LinkedIn Live. How did you start with that? I mean, did you hire somebody to do it for you? Can you tell a little story about how did you start, to do it? When did you start actually, and how?
I started I started in 2022 towards the end of the year. I started my first LinkedIn lives, and I I started through trial and error. I think that um, it's really funny. My first one was a fiasco, but that's what life is all about. I mean, babies, when they start walking, of course they're gonna fall down, but do they stay down? So we can't stay down. We got to keep it moving, friends.
Exactly. And actually, when I look at your LinkedIn Live, there are like always like 100 to 200 people who's interested to attend, right? I mean, honestly, for me, when I also started 3 years ago, I felt like nobody's watching, nobody's looking. And I was like, does it even make sense for me to go live? But I think, as you rightly said, it's about moving forward. It's about learning. And I think fast forward to today, what makes it very interesting is that sometimes, like the last LinkedIn Live I did in February, we only did 4 days of promotion and we got 200 people who are interested to attend already, which are the ideal clients of our clients.
Mhm.
And I think it's about working with people. For me, what I learned is that working with people who know what they're doing. Like when I joined your as a guest on your live, I was like, wow, that audio, I don't know how to do it, but Angelica is doing it perfectly well in terms of moderation. So I think one of the best advice that I will share if you want to start your LinkedIn live is that you learn from people who are doing it already. And better yet, if somebody can help you, then ask already to get that help that you need. And actually, later we will announce, Angelica and I have planned to do something together, so that together we can highlight and bring a lot of CEOs, put a spotlight on their brand story in terms of also what are their products and services. Because at the end of the day, Angelica, right, I believe every business needs a spotlight. You can be the best in what you do, you can have the best product and services, but if nobody knows you, it's a waste, right? Have you
Mhm.
seen businesses like this? What do you think? What do they need now?
Well, they need to get known. And if nobody knows you, how are you going to have a business, right? So there's so many, like you said, 1 billion on LinkedIn. How do you stand out, right? And so those are some of the things. One of the ways is being here on LinkedIn Lives. And it's important for people to see you so that they can know what you're all about and how you present yourself. And, once people see you and they get to know what your product is, they're like,
Mhm.
I think I want to buy from this person, right? So it's a trust factor too, because, you know, we live in a time of many a scam. And I
Mhm.
was getting a lot of phone calls, scam phone calls. And I was like, oh my goodness, this number doesn't look familiar. So you're like, who do you trust? So I put up this scam guard on my phone. So if the number is not in my contacts, it automatically goes to my messages. Otherwise, I would, constantly be looking at my phone. So it saves time, but this is another way for people to know that you're not a scammer because they see that you're here.
Mm,
They see your face. Scammers don't want you to know their face.
definitely.
They're like, no, no. I remember somebody when I was on a trip also was trying to approach me that I didn't know, and I think they were going to try to pickpocket me or something. And I was with my friends, and I
Mm,
go, let's take a picture. And they said, no, no. And they ran away. And I said, what's going on? I mean, it could be for any other reason, but you when people don't want to show their face, um, and they're trying to reach out to you, you're wondering why, right? So
mm.
it's a trust factor thing. So this is the cool thing about the video lives.
Definitely. This actually, you're talking about pictures, right? And I actually want to highlight it already. Some people on LinkedIn, they are not aware that, their LinkedIn profile pictures are not shown to everybody. So, and I want you to check that if you don't have, you go to settings and make sure that your picture is into, there's some settings on LinkedIn in which case you have to make sure that people see your picture because a lot of connections get rejected because you don't have a picture
Mm,
or number either it's you don't have a right picture or you don't have a picture at all or it is not shown because as you rightly said, Angelica, the trust factor is so critical now, and
mhm,
having that picture, and this is why I was always telling people, a lot of people have doubts. Why will I do live streaming? How does it work? How will it help my business? And I was like, you don't understand, but your credibility will move from this level to that level when people get to see you, they get to hear you, and they get to connect with you. And I think what's very important about LinkedIn, and compared to other social media platforms where you see cat or dog or something else as a picture on LinkedIn, I mean, people, you can see the profile picture, you can see the company, you can also see the verified, right? And compared to scammers on I really have no problems with scammer here because when I felt that it's a scammer and you report on LinkedIn, they take it seriously. And I appreciate that. So from that perspective, I'll say I feel safe. But on the other hand, that's why I always encourage people, specifically business owners, that, if you don't understand LinkedIn, it's okay. But you need to get started. You need to understand how the platform works. It's so simple. And because for me, I've used other social media platforms before, I did lives as well. But here, it's a different experience altogether. And maybe, Angelica, you can give some tips. How do you make sure that you get the right people on your network on LinkedIn? And how do you make sure that you get I always believe on LinkedIn, it's not about the number of connections or the number of followers or the number of people who even get to attend your, it's about having the right people. How do you filter that and how can you make sense of that?
I think the way that you filter that is by you have to. It takes time to build a relationship. You're not going to build a relationship in one day, right? So when you're on audio rooms, that's where you can build the relationships, and you find out who wants to even reach out and work with you. So when you're in an audio room and having those conversations, and other people are listening to you, and they usually reach out to you and ask you if you could help them with their audio room. And what happens is you start building these relationships where people support you, and they they continuously support you. Like one of my friends on in audio rooms is Annie, and he's doing live videos too, but I met him through the audio room. And we were talking about publishing books, and I had written my children's book like years ago, but I just did it Um, and this was a project that I had when I was a mentor teacher, right? And the professor said, "Okay, I want you to make this book engaging and da 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 da." So I was really excited about it. It's a pirate book, and things would come out of the book, and I had a puppet that went with it, and so I made it. It was a handmade book, right? And
Wow.
I self-published it, but I went through a printer, right, to self-publish it. But I always wanted to get it done through Amazon because I thought
Mm.
Amazon, you could reach more people, and I don't have to go through all of the mailing and all the other stuff, right? I could just get it done and not have to focus on that because I'm doing so many other things, right? So, at any rate, that was when my son was about, he was in kindergarten, right? 6 years old. And I even got to read it to the kids in his kindergarten. But I hadn't published it on Amazon yet, right? And so here it is. He's 25 years old, and I'm like in the audio room with Annie, and Annie's talking about the audio room, about publishing, and I go, "Yes, Annie, I have my book too that I need to get published on Amazon." And I go, "But I'm just having this and this problem." And there was a few rooms that we did together, and I'd always mention that. And then he goes, "I dare you, Angelica." He has a British accent. I dare you, Angelica. Dare you to write your book and get it done. See me after this room and we'll talk about the formatting. And so actually since he and humiliated me. No, I didn't feel humiliated, but he dared me in front of everybody. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to do it now. So that night we went over the formatting and I got to get the book done, something that I had procrastinated on. And when you have friends that you meet here on LinkedIn, that you build those relationships with, they want to move you forward.
Hmm.
Even if they humiliate you, they help you move forward, and that's what a friend is all about, right? We wanna
Hmm.
help each other move forward in life. We want the best for each other. So that's how, you build some of the relationships here on LinkedIn. Now I always tell his story, and then everybody wants to write a book with him because I wanna help him out too, right?
Hmm.
So that's the beauty of these friends that you meet here on LinkedIn.
So first, congratulations, Angelica, for your book,
Thank
for
you.
getting it published on Amazon. I think I want to put an
You have
emphasis.
one too, right?
Well, I actually have one too on I actually have, I think I have three or four on Amazon now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I think what I learned from LinkedIn is that you are always one message away from getting the right help, because you are in the community of people who are willing to help each other. And
Mm,
maybe, you might feel offended and humiliated when people dare you, when people dare you to do something. But I think we want to dare people who's watching us live or on replay that, why not show up and stand up and speak up? It's not about being perfect, it's about showing who you are and helping others. And I know every business have a reason for existence. So if you do have a business, if you believe in your business, if you believe in yourself, then start to talk about it. Start to, I will always say, go on this LinkedIn Live. Maybe we will dare you to be the guest on our upcoming LinkedIn Live show, because we want to interview you. We want to talk about your product. We want to understand your story. Because, I mean, even for me, I started my new company last month, which is Kaltan Social Media Marketing, because I learned as a business owner, it's not about having the fancy office. It's not about having so many people. It's about having the right marketing for you, so you can get business and get clients, because no business can exist with only a beautiful office, right?
yeah.
One of my clients said you need business to to get your business running, which is true. So
Mhm.
I want to help more, together with Angelica. We want to help more businesses thrive. We want to help you succeed, and that starts with putting yourself out there and building that digital reputation, that digital presence, right, Angelica? And I think
Absolutely.
maybe you can also explain how do you think is a community very important in terms of success also, because I know you're very big on community, on relationships. A lot of people don't understand it as well. Maybe you can put some points about that as well.
Community always shows up for you.
Hmm.
So let's say you're doing an audio room or even a live video. Uh, Community is going to show up because they not only want to learn, they want to support you. And guess
Hmm.
what? As a community person, you're going to support them.
Definitely.
So I have my audio rooms and my live videos, but I also go and to the other live videos. Last night I went to an audio room on trauma,
Hmm.
and it was it was so encouraging. You learn so much. Um, and Kim Lee was on there. She's a a therapist that went through trauma, but she's healed, and
Hmm.
she gave a point on how you can heal from trauma because somebody
Hmm.
had mentioned, uh, I guess that she was on her healing journey, but she um, she specified, "I'm healed now because of the different exercises that she did." And I told her, that it was inspiring to hear her message because it gives people hope that even though
Hmm.
they went through trauma, they could still heal. They just need to know the steps to take. And she gave us 4 different affirmations that I wrote down. And I'll have to mention them another time, or we'll talk about it another time because this is in a trauma room. But I just thought I'd mention that when you're in these different rooms supporting others, you learn a lot in these
Hmm.
other rooms as well. You're building a community, but at the same time, you're learning from that community, and we're just communicating with each other and expressing our feelings. And uh, that's another way that we move forward because you never know who's in the room that might have
Hmm.
trauma. And then towards the end of the room, I always try to share any other rooms that are coming up. You know, like today, there's going to be a room on AI. How to grow your business using AI, right? That's really important right now because that's like the next step to the things that we need to learn so that we can move forward in business, right? And Friday, I'm going to interview somebody on TEDx that was on a TEDx speaker. So we want to be around people that have, like you mentioned earlier, who have done it because then we could learn how to do it. You know,
Hmm.
I don't know how many people, I don't know who wants to do it, but I think it's a good goal to have, right?
I think, anytime, I think in this world now where we operate, community is very important because, as you rightly said, it's about getting that right support. It's about learning from them. I will always say, if you want to go fast, then you go with the group, you go with the community. And which is why I'm very excited that we're gonna work on a community together to help more people, and I will invite them later to join our community, because other than of course getting this LinkedIn marketing free for them, they get to of course get to learn from us, get connections from us based on people we know. And if I may share, when I started on LinkedIn, I started doing LinkedIn live coaching calls. And some people, I was just challenging myself. I have so many tools that I know as a coach. Let me use that. And there, I cannot forget, there's one person who came in. She has a trauma about the death of a family member. And
Mm,
she was crying, on the live stream only. I was like, oh my God, which tool will I use? And thankfully, she's been carrying that trauma for 20 years.
mhm,
But after the 20 minutes live call where I walk her through, forgiving herself, about letting go of, blaming yourself for the death, and, just giving that dedicated time to process that trauma of death. And it gave her the space. And she actually told me, I got in touch with her the other month, and she said, after that call, she felt lighter, and more actually opportunities came to her. I mean, a lot of people, and even in my coaching on businesses, a lot of people are not aware that
mhm.
when something happened to us, it becomes a block to our success without
Yes.
us knowing, right?
Mhm.
But when you get to have the time to acknowledge that something went wrong, you have the time to process and feel that, and have the time to also let go of everything that's holding you back. It becomes very, very powerful. And which actually makes me very excited, because I know when you work with a community, it's even more powerful because you help heal each other as a community, right? It's not about one on one that we get to teach each other. It's about the community. As you share your pain, it gets healed to the pain of the other members of the community also, which I've seen it happening on, a face-to-face training retreat, but it also happens on a live or on a closed Zoom room, which is very, very powerful. So I will always say, which is why community is very powerful, and really it's something that I always look forward to, because I will always say I will never be where I am today without the community and the coaches and the programs and whoever person are supporting me. And
Oh,
maybe,
yes.
Angelica, can you tell more about what do you think is going to? I know you've been in the event industry. You have the, what is the name? The What in the World? That's a very interesting title. Right? You have this company, What in the World events, and you've been there for like, I think 20 years, right? Can you tell how, marketing has evolved from before up to now? How did it change significantly over the years?
Well, I think what we've seen is, you uh, marketing started as, you have direct marketing, the mail marketing, right? And, of course, you had TV. And with TV, you had to have hundreds of thousands of dollars for doing a commercial.
Hmm.
And now with social media, you don't have to have all of that money in order to promote your brand.
Hmm.
And it's much more personalized. There's so many different types of media. You have Instagram, which is, it's like an elegant, uh, you see a lot of elegant people in their cars, taking trips and things like that. And then you have TikTok, and TikTok, you'll have a person in their room, doing a dance or telling a story. And there's two different types of audiences. I think
Hmm.
with TikTok, you get more audience because there's not the 1% audience is the type for Instagram, right? I mean, you will get some that aren't in the 1%, but in TikTok, you get a larger audience because there's more people that have that room, right? That aren't taking those trips maybe, but, it's all about being relatable.
Hmm.
It's all about being authentic. It's all about the relationship and the connection. And I think that's how it's changed. It's the connection that you make with the people that you're in contact with, and that's the beauty. That's if you're a genuine person and you love people, people could see that, you know?
Hmm.
So and then I think if you have a sense of humor, that really resonates too. I love it when I when I've seen some of the TikToks that are super funny, but I've seen some of those on Instagram as well, but I've seen how that's changed, and now with AI,
Mm,
there's so much that, I think you will be able to do much more and maybe have more time to spend with our families because AI is gonna take a lot of, the jobs that take longer, like, let's say, proofreading
mm,
a document, for example, when we can have AI do it for us, and that's gonna save us time. Then that's, taking the time. I have a friend that she's a lawyer, and, she's been doing all of her proofreading, and she goes she was talking about mistakes, and I told her, "Why don't you tell AI to do it?" Just how and, I mean, she could still look at it afterwards, but that AI is gonna catch maybe something that she
mm,
didn't catch, right? So, I see that AI is gonna help with animation, and that's something that I love because I'm a cartoon freak. I love Comic-Con. I go each year. So,
wow.
I think that that's where it's going. There's a number of menial or repetitive jobs that maybe we don't wanna do so that we could focus on the relationship part of
Mm,
our our business, which is this, right? So, yeah, I don't think we'd want, AI taking that relationship part away, because, I mean, even when let's say I'm having an issue with a product and I call a company
mm,
and it takes me to, uh, a recording. It's like, it's hard to have that conversation as to what the problem is. You wanna talk to a human being. "I'd like to speak to sales representative," I'll tell it, because you wanna get the problem settled in a way that focuses on what you want, and, sometimes those little, if you have this if you need this, press 1, if you need this, press 2, if you need this, press
mm.
3, is not what you need, right? So, I go directly to the sales rep. But that's how I feel that's irreplaceable, that touch, that
Mhm.
being able to speak with a human voice on some matters is important to have.
I think, marketing has evolved in so many ways. Before, as you rightly said, it's direct marketing, it's only on the expensive ads that you have on TV or maybe on radio, right? But actually,
Yes.
now, if you look at it, social media has really expanded and stretched, right? In terms
Mhm.
of digital marketing. And I agree with you, there's TikTok, there's Instagram, there are many social media platforms. But what I found most powerful is in terms of this LinkedIn marketing, because it really, when a lot of people in the beginning is telling me LinkedIn marketing is organic, I never understood what that meant. But after being here, when I started to get inbound clients messaging me just because they saw my LinkedIn live or they saw this interview or they saw this post or guesting, I really made sense that, oh, when I showed up on LinkedIn, that is when people started to see me globally, not when I started to show up on the other platform. Because I always do this challenge when I ask people, go to Google, right? Type
Mhm.
your name and see what comes up. And I
Mhm.
promise you,
Mhm. Mhm.
majority of the people I work with, it's not their Instagram account, it's not their Facebook. If you do have a LinkedIn account, it's really at the top. And that is why it's very
Absolutely.
important from a digital reputation perspective, from promoting your businesses, right? So, Angelica, I mean, what is your experience with that? Do you think it's very important for people to make sure? Remember when we had that LinkedIn Live where people were unaware that they need to have LinkedIn profile updated, that they need to do this change and that? What is your perspective in terms of why is it so important for people to have an updated LinkedIn profile so that the right clients, the right opportunities can come and find them?
Well, because like you mentioned, if you go and Google, people are going to find you.
Yeah.
And if you have something that's you're not doing anymore and they contact you, it's kind of like wasting your time. You want to be updated so that they're contacting you for what you're doing now. And you're not going to sound like you're how can I say that genuine because you're not putting what you really do. So it's important to have it updated so that people could see that this person says this, and let's confirm it by having a conversation. And when it's not confirmed, then it makes you look kind of unprofessional, right?
Definitely.
And in this time when people are what it's so important that trust
Hmm.
to build the trust. And how are they going to trust you if they're getting two different messages, right? we
Definitely.
we
Hmm.
need to have a message that is clear, so that they know exactly what you do, and at the same time up to date, because then they can know what you do. So
That's true, Angelica. Actually, we would like to ask our audience. We have quite a number of people. We have 33 people who are actually live on LinkedIn. And maybe they do have some questions,
mhm.
and we would like to bring them on stage. And before, of course, let me ask my team if they can, if they do have questions, please put it on the comments so Angelica and I can answer them. And of course, I would like to encourage you, if you do have questions for Angelica and me, type on the comments. We would love to answer that. And at the same time, while you're typing, let me invite you, because Angelica and I are working on a project to help businesses get clients on LinkedIn. And together we are forming this community. And together with the community, we will help promote you through our LinkedIn live stream. I think it's important that your story get heard. You know,
Mhm.
that people get to see you, they get to connect with you, they get to understand what you do and why you do it, so that the opportunities will come and find you. So go to bit.ly, get global clients, and Angelica and I will definitely be more than happy to give you the free marketing on LinkedIn plus the community, and you get to know more of what's included when you go to this link. And do we have some questions from the audience? Let me see. I think there's quite a number of Okay, let's greet some people. Lisa Vivek said, "Good day to everyone. Special hello, Angelica. Looking forward to this convo." Thank you, Lisa. Oh,
Hi,
there
Lisa.
is it.
Thank you,
Thank
Lisa. She's one of my she has a audio room where she talks about menopause and what to do to feel better. And she has a lot of different ideas. She has a wonderful person to work with.
Thank you, Lisa, for joining us live. I hope in our next LinkedIn Live episodes you get to be our guest so you can talk about. I think that menopause is a very important topic that a lot of people, need guidance from. And I think it's not about the age now. I mean, every person have different kind of body, right?
Yes.
Regardless of age, you might get menopause, but it's important to get yourself ready and to hear from the right people who can give you advice. And I hope Lisa can be one of our guests. Are there any people? Let me see. And I think we actually have a few questions even before we went on live. Maybe they can. Okay. Also, we'd like to acknowledge Maria Victoria Nakoda. This is my client, Mavi. She said, "Thank you for sharing your experience. Coach Wanda's mentoring has also opened my eyes to endless possibilities on LinkedIn. Showing up was a challenge first. I know. I was pushing her, go show up. I dare you, Abby. But now really grasping, just being consistently giving value is one of the most important steps." Thank you, Avik, for joining. And I think I want to dare challenge people, if you don't, because there we have people who are watching us on Facebook and on Twitter and who's gonna watch us on replay. A lot of people on LinkedIn are lurkers, meaning they have LinkedIn profile but they don't post, they don't comment, they don't do anything on their profile. And I say, I want to challenge you to get started, right? Because it is when you get to make sense that LinkedIn is working for you. You get to connect with the right people, and I will also get the right guidance, and then you can actually achieve your goals with effortless ease. Because that is how I started too. I get coaches, I get mentors, and then the rest is history. So,
Mhm.
do we have some questions? Actually, my team got a few questions that they gathered. Okay. The first question, how is LinkedIn Live different compared to other platforms? Maybe you can share, Angelica, your experience and I'll share mine.
I think on LinkedIn, you can grow your community faster.
Hmm.
I mean, I have Instagram. Actually, I do have a large community on TikTok, but my community here on LinkedIn is I don't know. I'm really close with my community here. Lisa showed up. Thank you, love. So that's what I'm talking about. Your community will show up, and we want to help our community out. So that's the difference that I've seen. Um, you have more conversations with this community, and this is a community of professionals that
Hmm.
usually you have CEOs of organizations, or you have other people that are looking for work that you can guide them to go. There's a guy, Brian Golad, that helps people with their resumes and things. And so when people come to my rooms and ask for that type of help, I'll direct them to go to him. So that's the community. You build the relationships, and you know what people do, so you can help them go to the right person.
Thank you, Angelica, for sharing. Maybe I'll share my experience of what makes LinkedIn Live platform different. I think compared to other social media platform like Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, or you just turn the camera on and then you're live, right? That's it. But I think what's complex for me on LinkedIn when I started is that I needed a third party software to connect to my LinkedIn profile. Then, it's a different technicality to learn. I mean, for me, I'm using StreamYard. So it's different that way. That's why I had to get people who are experts on live streaming to help me get started. And I think what I love about what you said, which is also my experience, is that you really get to find the right community, the right people who are as passionate and purposeful as you. Because on different platform, you really don't know, right? It's difficult to make sense. But I think here you can always feel whether that connection is genuine, that person is genuine from what they
Mhm.
do. So that's what I love about it's the support. And I think a lot of people will sometimes reach out to you and just say thank you, and it puts a lot of different meaning that you're making sense and you're adding value. And I think that's very important, right? And so thank you, thank you. Do we have another question? I think what's the time? Wow, we're like 1 hour already. How can I start my LinkedIn live show? Do you want to start that, Angelica?
Well, you could start your LinkedIn Live by, uh, I usually like to have a guest. Some people do it
Mhm.
by themselves, but I love the interaction piece, like with Wanda Lynn, because when people see how you interact with each other, they get another view of you, right? I know um, if we go out to a restaurant, and let's say if when you're younger, if you go on a date or something and you see how the person interacts with the waiter or waitress, and let's say they're rude to the waiter or waitress, you're like, no, I don't want to do it. This is not a good candidate, right? So that's the beauty. If you start a live, I always suggest start it with somebody that you know, or even with us, right? We can guide you in that way. You feel more comfortable than doing it alone. When you do it alone, it's more nerve-wracking. And like Wanda said earlier, you go farther faster when you have someone guiding you along, being part of your team, right? So that's first one of the things that I would say. And talk about something that that you're passionate about, or the person that you're interviewing is passionate about. And uh, those are some of the ways that I think. I think just getting acquainted with I use StreamYard as well, and it's been good for me. So I'll mention those three things and let you speak now, Wanda Lynn.
Okay, I'm gonna share what I think. If you want to start your LinkedIn live show, of course you can do it on your own. But if you want to save time, money, and energy, I will always say get the right help from the right people, right? Because for me, that's why I can always see whether a LinkedIn live is done by one person because I've done it and it's so crazy, managing these buttons, these banners, until I was like, I think enough is enough. I need people who can help me. So thankfully, I now have my LinkedIn live stream team who's working me manage everything from creating the event because it's people just think that you just show up and that's it. But oh my God, there's so many details from creating that banner, creating that event, inviting people, creating it on StreamYard, and then managing the live show. I mean, there's so many things, and I think I would always suggest if you are ready, then you get the right help. And I think it's about guesting on the other people's show also. It's very important because you get to leverage both the network, right? And that is why I think Angelica and I would like to add value. If you want to do, LinkedIn Live, if you want to promote your business or your service, we would love to help you because Angelica and I we're going to do a lot of more videos and audio room so we get to introduce you, to the digital world and get your story known, get your products known. And I think it's always important to get somebody who's doing it already. So you're not a newbie, but you get to get the help from the people who knows it already. And of course, you get to leverage on the following of that people. Like for example, when I started my LinkedIn Live, I only had 1,000 connections, Angelica. So now I understand why very few people were attending. But now that I have like 12,000, even in 4 days I get 200 because of the the huge number of following, the huge number of connections that I have. And that is what I always tell people, the right people on my network will get to hear you and see you. And it's not about every person needs to hear. No, the right people will always come and find you. That's what I love about the LinkedIn live show. There's no need to do 100 things, but you just show up, be yourself, and get the
Yes.
right people to see you, to hear you, and to work with you, right? So that's what I think. Do we have the last question before we end? Or that's it? Oh, okay. The last question: how can the Get Global clients help me in my business? I think this is something I explained already because Angelica and I will do a Get Global clients LinkedIn community where we get to promote your business. We get you to become one of our guests, and at the same time, we get to coach you one on one. So, I think personally for me, I want to make this a project to make sure that we get to showcase and help people, get to be known, get to be seen, and get to be heard so that the right people will come and find them. And it's about having that community which really supports you. So, Angelica, what do you think? How can they help? How can our community help them and their business?
Well, like you mentioned, people need to be known in order for people to do business with you, and that's our job, help you get known. And not only to help you get known, but so that people see the quality of what you have to offer, and the care and the passion that you have for your product. So those things don't always come out in just writing about it. It comes out when you talk about it, right?
Mhm.
So that's how we can help you.
Definitely, I agree with you. I mean, it doesn't have. I mean, a lot of people think that okay, I'm going to create content, and then the right clients will come and find us. Like, yeah, that's one of the ways. But I will always say there's so much about you that cannot be put on paper, right? So if you're ready, Angelica and I would like to welcome you. Go to bit.ly, get global clients, because we will start this in April and we hope you could be part of our community that we get to help. And of course, if you wanna, you can join now, and you can say, I don't want to join anymore. You can join anytime, cancel anytime. That's okay. But at the end of the day, if you're ready, then we're more than ready to help you. Angelica, we're already an hour. I know you're
Yes,
very
time went
busy.
by so fast. It
I
was
know, right? We can talk
too
the
much
whole
fun.
day.
We're having too much fun.
But I would like to thank you personally for being here with me today. I want to thank every person who's watching us live. I want to thank every person who's going to watch our replay. And I'm very excited. Please connect with Angelica. This is her LinkedIn link. Of course, I want to thank my live stream team. There are 6 people now in my team.
Yay.
Yay. There's
Thank
six
you.
people now who's doing everything for me in between. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And Angelica, any last words before we go?
My last words are we're excited to work with you in whatever you need, and we love you, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the week.
Thank you, Angelica. I know, for the Catholic community, this is a whole week. So after this, a lot of people will just stop, reflect, and slow down. And it is also the holy month of Ramadan. So a lot of people are into spiritual reflection. And I will say, we thank you again, and we look forward to welcome you to our Get Global Clients community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you on our next live show. God bless you.
Bye, guys. Love
Bye.
you.
Thank you.